Boos rang around the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium at the end. It was a toxic atmosphere. Mickey van der Ven and Jed Spence ignored Thomas Frank's urgings to go and salute the fans, if you like. They went straight down the tunnel at full time. And Alex, the Tottenham fan, has had his say earlier today on the current situation.
Well, I heard you mention the word toxic earlier on, and I think that's the new nickname for our club, Toxic Hotspur. It's not great, is it? Because it's a recurring event, this negative football at home, and the fans are getting really sick and tired of it, it seems.
A lot of Tottenham fans have been texting, and also a West Ham fan, Paul, the Happy Hammer, says some of these Spurs fans are deluded. They avoided being a championship club last season. Winning the UEFA League and getting a Champions League place doesn't make them Champions League quality. Has he got a point, actually? He's a West Ham fan, Coisty, but has he got a point that, we're forgetting very quickly about the struggles that Tottenham had last season and where they finished?
Yeah, we're probably blinking a little bit with the new manager coming in. The fact they won the Europa League, which, was whatever way you look at it, I think still a very, very good achievement. But what we're obviously seeing now is the difference between the Europa League and the Champions League. And there's an incredible jump between the standards in those particular tournaments for me. So Tottenham will never... I would argue Tottenham's league position right now, Jeff, isn't that bad. I know they're understandably getting upset about the level of performance at the weekend, and so they should be, because it wasn't a good one. But Tottenham's sitting, what, the fifth right now? Come on. I think that for Tottenham is a place a lot of them would have accepted at this moment in time, Jeff, no?
Yeah, incredibly tough run to come. Man United at home, Arsenal away, Fulham at home, Newcastle away. James from Broxbourne says, morning, Jeff and Ali. I can't believe what I'm hearing about Thomas Frank. It's not Frank. It's the bang average players who've been brought in throughout the past 3 or 4 years. Richarlison at 65 million, Tell 35 million, Slanky 65 million, Johnson 45 million, Odegaard 38 million. It goes on and on. Personally, I would clear the squad out and give Frank what he wants. Let's get some reaction on the phones then, shall we? Mark is a Spurs fan. Morning, Mark.
Hi, guys.
Good morning, Mark.
Yeah, we're good. What about you? Mate. What do you make of Thomas Frank then?
Yeah, I think your last message you read out stolen my thunder, really. Ultimately, a team's only as good as their centre forwards, and Richarlison, Tell, Odegaard, and Johnson simply aren't good enough. You read out a stat earlier about Maddison, Kalu and Son being 3 of our top goal scorers last year, all being absent. Chuck Solanke in there as well. That's another, I don't know how many league goals he got, but I think he got 16 goals in all competition. Nuno weren't good enough. Conte weren't good enough. Mourinho weren't good enough. Ange weren't good enough. Ultimately, it's because our forwards are not good enough. Ali, your point as well about the jump to the Champions League, I don't necessarily buy that, mate. Obviously, when you get to the knockout stages, of course that's true. We were actually unbeaten in the Champions League, and half the teams that were in the Europa League last year that we beat are in the competition with us this year. I just think it's as simple as Richarlison spends most of his time on the floor or trying to G the crowd up rather than actually holding the ball up or making runs or linking play. Odegaard can't beat a man, Tell can't beat a man, John you a goal, but he can't do much else, and he don't seem to be in Frank's faults at the moment. I think it is as simple as we just don't have enough goals in the team.
It's funny because I watched you opening 2 games of the season, and I thought Spurs were terrific, Mark. I really did. Both of them away from home. The game against PSG, in particular the game against Manchester City, and then you think to yourself, well, 2 great performances. Can they maintain it for the duration of the season? I'm not so sure, but I just think. And you tell me I'm wrong, I just think you're a team at this moment in time that look more suited to playing away from home than at home.
Yeah, 100%. I don't know if the atmosphere contributes to that. I mean, other than Kudus, who for me has been a breath of fresh air, like I said, we've got no creativity at all. Bergval's in and out of the team. It was a shame he came off the other day after 5 minutes. Simmons is underwhelmed. League positions are misleading at this time, aren't they? Because I looked at the table yesterday, and I think there's before the City game at least, there was 3 points separating second from 11th. So you could be sitting 3rd or 4th one week and then 9th or 10th the next week. Frank's going to suddenly make us score more goals, if I'm honest with you. And if we do, it'll be at the expense of conceding more, probably, like with Ange.
Yeah. Mark, thank you very much indeed for the call, even
Thanks,
with all
Mark.
those goals that Mark was talking about there. Just remember, they finished fourth from bottom last season, and they've lost those goals this season. Actually, the Newcastle fan makes the point. Our Tottenham Hotspur fans deluded. Thomas Frank's just arrived, and to a team that finished 17th last season. It will take him a lot of time to get it right. They've got a lot of injuries, and the squad is still threadbare. Let's hear from another Spurs fan, John. Morning, John.
Good morning, John.
Morning. Yeah, the last caller got it bang on. You're only as good as what you got, and at the moment we ain't got a lot. As simple as that, really. If you look at it, this whole, as we are at the moment, this is Levy's legacy, isn't it? This is what he's left us with, a squad of potential, and get it right, when he bought these players, he only bought them with a possible sell-on value when they became good. But, unfortunately, a lot of them aren't good. That's the problem. We've got no goals up front. Richarlison, we should never, ever have bought him. He's not a centre-forward. He's never going to get you 10 goals plus. What's the maximum he's got, 10 or 11? You can't put that and expect us to pull trees up when you've got a forward that don't score. You've got Solanke injured. Tell should never have bought him. Odebert, don't know why we bought him. Johnson, as the last caller said, he can't go past his man. He grab you a few goals, but other than that, he don't do anything. I mean, if you look at what happened on Saturday evening with Van der Ven and what's his name, Spence coming off, I mean, that is just a lack of discipline, and that should not happen. I mean, save that for the dressing room, but that is totally undermining the manager. So what's he going to do now? Drop those two players? But we can't afford to drop those two players because we've got nothing else. So I don't know where he's going to go with this. But to show his authority, he's got to drop them. But we've got Scarlett on the bench, a centre forward, a young kid. Stick him in there. What's the worst he can do? What is the worst he can do? We can't do any worse. We're not scoring goals. Put him in there. Give him a chance.
John, thanks very much indeed. Want to quickly squeeze one more in. Ross, who's actually a Nottingham Forest fan, but wants to have his say. Morning, Ross.
Morning, Ross.
Fellas. How are we doing?
Yeah, good, mate.
Doing well, mate. Thanks. How about you? On you go.
Yeah, I mean, it's just too bad they don't have Ali there, right, to score those sort of hundreds of goals alongside Haaland. Just wondering as a quick one, Ali. I've seen you talking about the rugby earlier. How would you rate yourself alongside Jonah Lomo?
But, hey, I'll tell you what I'll say to you, Ross. I've got a better chance of stopping them now than I had 20 years ago.
Nah, but about Tottenham though, look, not the last caller, the one before, sorry. He reminds me of the kind of guy who sits in the singing section at my team Forest and just sits there the whole time complaining. I mean, come on, seriously. Just you got this magnificent stadium, you got one of the most talented managers in the league over the last 7 years, done a magnificent job with Brentford. Come on, just get behind the team. You're fifth in the league. You could have gone second the weekend. They're criticising Brendan Johnson, one of my youth academy players from Forest. Come on, man, you're having a laugh, aren't you? Just get behind the team.
Yeah. You're right, Ross. They're fifth in the table at the moment, and I think most Spurs fans would have taken that at the start of this season. Thanks for the call, mate.
Absolutely. Thanks, Ross.
Dawes makes an interesting point. He said, Spurs, just give a shout-out to the Spurs medical team for taking a player off with concussion. It doesn't happen enough in football, so it should be applauded. And he's absolutely right. Lucas Bergvall didn't want to go off, but quite rightly, the medical team there made sure that he did, and they do deserve applauding.
Correct.
For that.